It's Friday, January 11th, 2013, and we're going to be doing some more CES coverage in the coming days, but for today, let's talk about what happened at XDADevelopers.com. First up, device and ROM update news. In the last week, it was reported that we have two new unofficial ports of CyanogenMod 10. These two new ones specifically are for the Straight Talk Samsung Galaxy S2 and the Samsung Galaxy Player 5. The one for the Galaxy S2 is a port built on 4.2.1, so that's a sort of a CM 10.1 port. And from what I've read about it, it seems like it works just fine. It should be usable as a daily driver. Lots of other goodies in that thread as well, as such as different modems and Clockwork Mod and all sorts of fun stuff. So if you have the Straight Talk Galaxy S2, you may want to take a look at the forum thread. Now as for the Galaxy Player 5 port, not quite ready yet. There's been a lot of work done on it, but it is still considered very early. Things like the Bluetooth, the camera, and the earpiece are not working. Sound from the speaker on the back of the device is supposed to work. The capacitive buttons do not work on the international version, so it's still kind of a give and take, and it doesn't sound daily driver ready. But if you do have this device and you're interested in getting a later, greater version of Android running on it, you may be interested in reading through that forum thread as well. Now, the next story I found particularly cool because I got to talk to the guys from Barnes & Noble about the Nook over the last couple of days. The story involves not single, dual, triple booting on the Nook Tablet, but quadruple booting on the Barnes & Noble Nook Tablet. And essentially there is a tutorial out there now, done by XDA forum member Malonim, which gives you the instructions for how to make this happen using a Windows machine. Essentially what you do is you make the SD card bootable, you partition it in a certain way so that you've got 3 different OSs on it, and then you put the OSs on the SD card. Realistically, I'm not sure why that would require having Windows. I'm guessing it's because of the tools that he was using, but on Linux there is gparted that can do all of the same sort of things that seem to be required from that. So if you do have a Linux machine and not Windows and you're interested in trying this as well, you might want to take a look at it. Essentially what you get is Nook OS on the device itself, and then CyanogenMod 7, 9, and 10 on the SD card that you can switch between. Again, one of the really big reasons that I'm a fan of the Barnes & Noble tablets, aside from the fact that you are out of the box locked into using their store, still, it's relatively easy to get it because they have a whole open architecture. That's one of the things I got a chance to talk to the Barnes & Noble people about, was how open they do leave things so developers can sort of do what they want, even though it does move outside of their realm of, making money on the device. Additionally, this week, XDA senior member SegV11 posted some tutorials on how to unlock or maybe relock the Nexus 4, Nexus 10, and Galaxy Nexus without having to wipe your device. You do have to be rooted to do it, and you just change a couple of bits in some files in the param partition. So this is a really nice way to lock the bootloader back if you want to for security reasons, I suppose, or to unlock it if you're somehow rooted and you're not unlocked already. I guess to be able to go back and forth pretty easily. And realistically speaking, it should be pretty simple to put a GUI on top of it, although again, security reasons, you may not want to use something like that. Either way, if you have one of those 3 devices, not the Nexus 7, that one apparently is not covered by this, but there's another tutorial that was linked to, so go check out the forum thread for all the details on it to see about locking it back or just unlocking it if you haven't already without wiping the device. Another good interesting piece of news, at least in my opinion, being that I'm a Linux guy, XDA recognized developer Sakenda123 has released Linux kernel version 3.0 for the HTC Explorer, which I believe is also known as Pico or Pico. It supports the grand majority of the hardware on the device. There are still a couple of minor bugs with it, such as the power button not quite working correctly and the volume buttons not working quite right, but it's definitely off to a great start and should be an excellent basis for building ice cream sandwich and jelly bean ROMs for the device. Now, in another good piece of news, and actually good news in terms of community and manufacturer support, a while back XDA forum member RB Law contacted Broadcom and asked for drivers for the graphical acceleration on the Samsung Galaxy Y. Broadcom of course responded and actually offered to give support, and just 3.5 months later they've gone ahead and released the drivers, making it possible to take advantage of the BCM2763 Video Core 4 GPU in certain devices with certain ROMs. This may not be of much effect to most people. This is a device that was not released in a large majority of the world. However, it is still very nice to see a manufacturer like Broadcom step forward and offer this sort of support to the developer community. So 2 thumbs up there, and get to work, guys. And the last couple of things, we had 3 other videos released this week on XDA TV. First one was a video recap of what happened at CES Press Day done by me. Our own AdamOutler put out a video detailing hacking the Samsung Galaxy camera, so take a look at that one if you haven't seen it already. Sort of a good wrap up to all of the things he's been doing with the Galaxy camera as he's had it over the last few weeks. And TK put out another app review talking about the Kii Keyboard. I'm definitely not going to go into all of the CES material today. There is a lot of it, and I'm going to be going back over that in the next few days. We've got a video talking about some Sony stuff, some Huawei stuff, and whatever else we can come up with over the next few days, so there may be a lot of me in your subscription box next week. There's also going to be a little bit of coverage over on my channel, so if you have not already, go ahead and take a look over there and subscribe if you haven't already. If you like this video, do make sure to hit the like button down below, and as always, subscribe if you haven't already. There's a ninja in the background of this video that's been watching you, and he knows if you've subscribed yet or not. If you haven't, uh-oh, I think he noticed. Okay, problem solved. As always though, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.